Welcome to Chapter 4 of our ongoing study of the book Extreme Leadership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. In Chapter 4, Jocko tells the story of incredible combat and conflict in Ramadi, Iraq. There he recounts the different units that were working together in close proximity, that were working to face a common enemy, and the friction that sometimes happens between those units who see their own capability at different levels than the other units. It's here that he establishes the fourth piece of his leadership model of extreme ownership. The first, you must as a leader own all parts of performance towards the mission. And second, you must understand that there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. Third, you must believe in the mission. And now fourth, in this chapter, you must check your ego. Jocko and Leif's model of leadership, extreme ownership. I like that. I like models of how we live, models of how we think, models of how we relate to each other. Many of the books I read present a model, and usually it comes from a different perspective or a different point of view for that model. One of my favorite models is the model of how we think critically. And in the model of critical thinking, we see that human beings in their infancy start by thinking egocentrically. We think as a baby for ourselves. We think for our needs, for our immediate gratification. And as we grow and mature through childhood and into adulthood, we learn to think and act for the good of society and for the good of the team and the good of others. It requires us to put away the egocentric thinking of our youth and move to a more societal-centric thinking in adulthood. This is what Jocko and Leif are getting at in this model of extreme ownership. Check your ego means you can't think about your performance relative to other parts of the team. You must think first about the common good, first about achieving the mission of the overall team, looking at the big picture. That's what check your ego means to me. What does it mean to you? Am I thinking about this wrong? Am I looking at this in the wrong perspective? Help me out. Read Chapter 4, Check Your Ego. Tell me what you think about it. Next week, we move into Part 2 of the book. Part 2 that covers the 4 laws of combat and how they apply to the extreme ownership leadership model that Jocko and Leif are presenting to us in the book. Join us next week as we start with the first law of combat, cover and move. Chapter 5, Extreme Ownership.